Ladies and gentlemen, how are we all doing? Welcome to Ice Cream Uploads here on Friday the 29th of October. Yes, it's very, very nearly Halloween. That also means it's very, very near to November, which also means that it's very, very near to Christmas. And where has this year gone? I mean, you could say that about the last 2 years. It's ridiculous how fast it's all gone. But welcome to everyone who is in the chat. I was watching on demand. Good morning. Well, it's definitely good afternoon to you guys now. It's 12 over here in Manchester. Yeah, it's a heavy workload this morning. Bit frantic. Definitely getting stuff out last second. But yeah, it's been a hell of a morning so far, which is obviously why even when it's just me, we don't have to rely on both of us being on time. Things get in the way. This is a part-time gig. This is not something that we do as a full-time thing. So it's just as and when we're able to go online, we have deadlines to meet away from this. But you guys are always nice and welcoming early doors. It doesn't matter what time we go live. You guys are always there to support, so I very much appreciate that. Tito's in nice and early. Says, hello, let's go. And Thug's in there as well, dropping a load of heart emotes. And I think that's his face. I think was it Hamish that raided you yesterday? Because I remember watching Hamish in the car. And then he ended up going over to your stream, and then someone that I'd never seen before popped up on the screen. So I appreciate that, mate. Obviously, this is me and Graham that use this account, so he's definitely more of the PUBG guy. I don't really understand PUBG that much, basically, because I'm shit at it, and I don't want to learn it because I'm terrible at it. Yeah, that is my face. Yes, he did. Brother Legend was good to see you there. Well, yeah, it's me and Graham look after this channel. So Graham plays PUBG, I play everything else, which is usually a horror game of sorts, because I'm a massive survival horror fan, as per the two Resident Evil posters, obviously an Oasis poster because I'm from Manchester, and Manchester City shirts because, again, I'm from Manchester and not from Salford. I followed for a bit, brother. Follow age. Oh, yeah, that doesn't work on this channel. We don't have that command in there. But I can tell you how long you've been following for, and you have been following since the 9th of September. So, again, I appreciate that, mate. I hope your day is going as well as mine is so far. It's a long road to the weekend. I mean, we've obviously got the next 3 days, including obviously whatever work that you need to get done today. But then after that, it's all smooth sailing. But this is The Scoop. This is your video game news show. We go live each and every single weekday at 10 a.m. If there was ever time to use the Ishimo, it is absolutely now, because it is now 12 again over here in Manchester. We like to go through all the video game news, get them into a nice small little compact space, and give you to that in a digestible podcast, which goes live around about an hour or so after this live stream ends. The benefit of being in the live stream, though, is the fact that you can join in the conversation. Do you have thoughts and opinions? Well, you should, because it's stuff that probably concerns you. And so what we want you to do is give your thoughts and opinions on top of our thoughts and opinions, and we might end up changing our thoughts and opinions based on each other's thoughts and opinions. That's how this show goes. Obviously, if you are watching this on demand, get involved in the comments below. You'll be able. We respond to pretty much every single comment that we get as and when they do. Our YouTube is starting to get a bit of traction now, which is nice. Obviously, we have been doing this for over 2 years now. Usually, I think if most people would have a podcast and it wasn't doing that well necessarily after the first couple of months, they may be enticed to potentially bin it because it's not worth their time. Me and Graham, we doubled down. We put more time into it. We invested more time into creating content, to creating assets, trying to get new mics, which we have. Thank you, Elgat, for obviously doing that for us, trying to make this podcast as digestible and as professional as possible. And it's paid off big time. Over 105,000 of you guys that have listened to this podcast now in over 2 years. So we very much appreciate every single one of you that have done that have responded to us, that have followed us, that have liked all of our content, as well as shared it and got involved with the comments. It is very much appreciated. So, ladies and gentlemen, last night we went and continued our division rivals charge up onto Division 1. It went okay. I think out of about 8 games, we drew 2, won 4, lost 2, which, for a PES player, I'm absolutely happy with that. We are 1 win away from going up in Division 4. Into Division 4. We ended up bagging Raheem Sterling, which I did post this morning. So that's the best player I think I've ever got on foot. The padlock is starting to change. We invested heavily into Timo Werner as well. So we have got a little bit of pace in there. That will continue next week. The streams will continue this weekend, though. Just because it's weekday doesn't mean that it stops. Graham will be going live at 10 a.m.-ish tomorrow morning with some more PUBG content. So if that is the kind of content that you want to get behind, feel free to follow this channel and get involved when he goes live. He will be running squads. I think he probably will be playing with Lotus. So that therefore means there will be 2 slots left in his squad. So if you want to help and get involved and potentially pick up a few dubs, that's definitely the place to be able to do it. 10 a.m. tomorrow. And then on Sunday, we continue our streams with myself and my wife as we play through. We don't know how to pronounce it. It's probably Visage. It might be Visage. We have genuinely no idea. But it is a psychological first-person horror experience. It is Halloween on Sunday. Halloween is what Halloween is every single day of the week for me when I go play survival horror games, because that is my jam. Being able to play that on Halloween, it was meant to be Back 4 Blood. We did that last weekend, albeit it is a horror game. It's not really horror because it's more of a shoot 'em up. There isn't that much atmosphere in there. It's just a load of zombies, a load of blood, a load of guns, a load of a good time, but it's not necessarily horror. So me and the wife will be going through that. I haven't played it before. We usually do a Resident Evil stream on Halloween, but I've done them all. It's not scary for me anymore. It would be for Samantha, especially playing something like Resident Evil 7, where it's all atmospheric inside the Baker household. I think she would be petrified of that, but we're playing a game that we both might be petrified of, that we both never played before. So that should be interesting. Catch us at 10 a.m.-ish on Sunday as we go through that for the first time. I don't know how long the game is. It might be a one-sitting game. It could be something that we end up splitting into 2 parts. Who knows? But ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time for us to be able to get involved into some video game news. I feel like I'm talking a lot. I do have a brew in here, so if there is about a 4 or 5 second break when we jump into the news stories, that is because I'm taking a swig of my brew. I don't really want to be doing that on camera for you because it's just dead air. But yeah, we've got our first news story of the day. You've probably seen this over on our social medias. It's the fact that Ubisoft, I know they've already been in the news once this week. They are now headlining this show again today because this is something that affects our channel and our playing games-ness. That isn't a word, but we're going with it anyway. So let's move into the first news article of the day. And the stinger's working, great style. That's the sound of me having a swig of my brew. But anyway, this has been written over on VGC by Tom Ivan, and he states that Ubisoft has delayed The Division Heartland and Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake. Both games will now arrive in the fiscal year ending in March 2023, as will Rocksmith Plus. Ubisoft has delayed the Division Heartland and Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake, which previously was scheduled for release during the current fiscal year. They were now launched during the company's next fiscal year, which ends on March 31st, 2023. Rocksmith Plus, which also was last month delayed from its summer 2021 launch window to an unspecified date, has also been pushed to Ubisoft's next fiscal year, the publisher said on Thursday. Announced in May, Heartland is a free-to-play Division spin-off. Ubisoft has described a standalone experience that will provide an all-new perspective on the universe in a new setting. A week after the game was revealed, 20 minutes of gameplay footage was leaked, along with more information on the title, including a 45 PvE. I thought it was 2 words, but they smushed it into one, a PvE VP mode called Storm, which is, for you guys that are wondering what the hell I've just said, is PvP versus PvE with a PvP versus PvE element. So basically, you're playing against other people and AI-controlled enemies at the same time. That's the easiest way that I can break it down for you, because they don't make it easy when they put stuff like this and put like nice little abbreviations in. But anyway, announced last September and originally scheduled for release in January 2021, Prince of Persia Sands of Time remake has been delayed on a couple of occasions. Prince of Persia is a beloved brand that we are taking the appropriate time to ensure that we are living up to the players' expectations, Ubisoft's chief financial officer, Frederic Degue, said on Thursday. I mean, I've absolutely nailed that one. As we said during Q1, testing phases for our free-to-play games are ongoing and are in-form release plans. Testing of Heartland has provided great feedback, and the team is committed to making a title engaging for a wide audience. On Thursday, Ubisoft also said that Assassin's Creed Valhalla has become the second largest profit-generating game in its history, and has confirmed that the upcoming series entry, Assassin's Creed Infinity, will not be a free-to-play game. So, ladies and gentlemen, there isn't a lot to digest. I apologise. I don't know what the hell happened there. There isn't that much to digest there. It's just a little bit annoying. Now, Neat Joe's in the chat. Good morning, sir. How are you doing? Hope you're having a fantastic Friday so far. Again, there isn't that much to digest in this one. It's annoying because we was actually really looking forward to playing this Division game. I know Tito, have I seen you recently going back to play it? I'm sure I've seen in our Discord, you know, where on the right-hand side, I don't know how many of you use that desktop on Discord, but it shows you what people are playing. And I'm fairly certain I saw that you was playing Division again, which I love that, because the Division is a fantastic game, especially when you're playing with other people. Now, the Division Heartland, which is a game that we featured on here as a game that I am super looking forward to. It's a nice little free-to-play model. Of course, it's going to be littered with microtransactions, which is probably going to make the game unbearable after a certain amount of time because it's going to be super grindy. But for people who haven't played The Division before, that like the look of it but don't really want to pay the money for it, or they don't want to get into the grind of it or something like that, it gives the option, it gives a nice little taster for them and may be able to entice them in. And it looks good enough to be able to get to it, to compare it to the other 2 Division games, which is good enough for me. Prince of Persia, I feel like it's been too long. Obviously, it will have an audience out there that have been waiting for a new Prince of Persia game forever. I think that will do reasonably well. May not do as well as what they think it'll do, but I think The Division has probably got the best one. I mean, Rocksmith. I've always wanted to play that because I've always wanted to play guitar. Hence, my wife bought me this one 3 years ago, and I've played it, I don't know, I've probably played it 40 times, and I just can't do it. Like, there's a lot of things that I can do and a lot of things that I can't do, and playing guitar or playing any musical instrument, I definitely think that's one of them. I've got an eye and an ear for music, I just can't do it. Whatever my brain's telling me that I need to do, it won't happen in my fingers on the guitar strings. I don't know why. Guitar Hero was probably my limit. So playing Rocksmith would have been the nice little entryway to be able to do that, because obviously it's like playing Guitar Hero but with a real guitar, and then you learn the chords as you go along. That's fantastic. I don't know how well Rocksmith does though. But anyway, the Division being delayed is massive for me. That's highly disappointing. The fact they've had to push it back an entire year, that's mind-boggling. I don't understand how bad it could have potentially been for them to be able to push it back that far. Seems a little bit, what's the word? Panicky is probably the word I'm going to go for. But yeah, it's been pushed back an entire year into the next fiscal year, which is, again, highly disappointing. It's definitely something that we would have been streaming on this channel. It's definitely something that I would have wanted to get involved with you guys as well, and be running that 4-player. But it is what it is. I suppose we'll have to wait. It is going to be a free-to-play game. I imagine they're still going to be throwing out content for the Division 2 in that meantime as well, so it's not as if there's going to be no Division content going on during this time. Chappers is here. Yo, baby, the stream's listed as FIFA 2022. Is it? I definitely changed that this morning. I definitely changed that. Anyway, I just wanted to get into the FIFA audience, so I talked about it this morning, so why not? I definitely changed that this morning as well as a stream title, so I don't understand why that's not moved. But anyway, thank you very much for letting us know, chappers. Appreciate it. Not sure if you're Raz, but it's the wrong category if you are. Yeah, we'd love to be in the talk show ones. Basically, we did start off this podcast in just chatting, but you realise how many people are in just chatting. If you go into the talk shows one, we used to be in like the first row, and I think we still are. So every time someone goes into that, we're listed at the top. Hey, that's all you want. You want that kind of research to try and get your face as many places as you can. Nicho says, good, cheers, buddy, just working. However, my lights just arrived. Oh, fantastic. When are you getting that set up? When are you streaming again? I actually need to follow you on my own personal account, because we've got you followed on this, and Graham uses this one as his personal one. Tito says, also, stop stalking me. Listen, if you're in our Discord, you can't. That's the disclaimer. That's the NDA. You officially have me following, you know. So that's unfortunate for you. Chapper says he enjoyed the Division 1, just ran out of people playing it. Agreed. The Division 2 is actually a better game. It didn't start off as a better game, but it's actually a better game if you get involved with that. I was playing it on PC. My PC isn't as good as it used to be. I probably should rebuy it again on my PlayStation 5 and start again. I imagine it'll run a hell of a lot better on that. Tina says, same mate, Division 2 never caught me like the first one did. I had a real build and a reclaimer build. I think that's pretty much made people invincible. I'll be honest, I've seen nothing on Heartland, no footage. There was 20 minutes of footage that did actually get released. Let me see if I can go back to this. And I might be able to bring it on stream if it didn't get deleted. It was done via Reddit that someone's managed to get a build of it. Maybe they've gone to a preview event and just stolen it. Nicho says, well, I was down some monitors, so I wasn't streaming until the new ones. Hopefully get everything set up today and stream again tomorrow, all being well. Fantastic. Ad says, just finished a 12-hour shift. Jesus Christ. Absolute grinder. Tina says, baby, I love you, but you're wrong. Division 1 is a superior game. Less polished, sure, but the game had more soul. Again, it's literally all down to players' perspectives, and I'm not going to disagree with you, because if you think it's better, then it's absolutely better. But the thing is, when you play games like that, it's the same with Destiny, to be perfectly honest. When Destiny 2 first arrived, it was a shell of its former self, because Destiny 1 went on for so long. It had so many expansions. People had all of the best loot. They had all the best builds and stuff like that. And then you're having to start a game from scratch with nothing and no DLC and no extra missions. The level cap's so low and there's nothing to be able to do. That's the perspective that I have on it as an MMO fan. it's very difficult to be able to move from one game to another, especially when it's a brand new game. But yeah, I mean, the Division 1 was kind of a game that I want the day before to be, because it looks like it's a world and an environment that you want to get sucked into. And the Division, I think, was probably one of the first looter shooters like that in third person, where you're running around a city, well, various cities, to be perfectly honest, and it's a good time. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed the Division. The Division 1 was fantastic. I just feel like the Division 2 was just a bit smoother. I don't know if it's because I was playing it on PC. The first one felt a little bit clunky, but it worked. And the one that I was playing, Division 2 on PC, just felt a lot better. I imagine that's because it's all like unlocked frames and stuff like that, so my perspective might be skewed on that. But everything that I felt was wrong with the Division 1 kind of got built up on that one. But again, it's entirely down to yourself. I think the Division 1 had better and more varied builds, gear sets, and Division 2 was a bit more stale. Yeah, again, I agree with that as well. I absolutely agree with that. I mean, you probably got a hell of a lot more experience playing those games than I do. I'm just looking at it from an outer perspective. And what I experienced myself. Well, the video that I was going to show you about the Division Heartland, as I mentioned before, probably would have got taken down because it was a leaked video, and it has since been taken down, so I can't show you the footage of that. I imagine you'll be able to find it on Reddit and stuff like that. It does look completely different to the Division, I will warn you of that. It does look a little bit more brighter, because obviously the Division is quite a gloomy game, but this looks like the Heartland looked a lot brighter. It looks like State of Decay with all the lights turned on, I think, is the way for me to be able to describe it. But anyway, I'm looking forward to it. It's a shame it's been put back a year, but believe me, we've got enough games. I mean, let me show you one game that arrives on next gen in 13 days time. I'm fairly certain you'll be able to guess what it is. It's right here. It's right here. PS5 version, live November 11th. Believe me, we will be playing this and we will be streaming the absolute arse off it when it comes out. I cannot wait to be able to get back into that again. I have actually been playing, I mean, this is not a part of the news, but I have actually been playing, and I always get this wrong. I've forgotten the name of it. I've forgotten the name of it. Defiant, no, not Defiance. Forgotten what it's called. It was given away in Epic Games Store not long ago, but I've been playing it on my PS5. Oh god, I can't remember what it's called. It came out like 3 years ago, and it was very much like Skyrim, but without the magic. I'm gonna have to Google it now. I would just turn. In fact, I texted my mate last night what it was called, because he's massively into Elder Scrolls as well. 1 second. It is called Kingdom Come Deliverance. That's what it's called. Kingdom Come Deliverance. I knew it began with a D. It doesn't. The second part does. But Kingdom Come Deliverance is actually a really good game. The storyline's really good so far. It's kind of filling the gap between me obviously not being able to play Skyrim. I've had this on my desk now for about 4.5, 5 months. I got it for £15. I do own the original version of Skyrim, and I have the special edition on PC. But they said if you have the special edition on PS4, you'll get your free PS5 upgrade, and that is exactly what I've done. I went out and got this. It was on PSN for £45, £50. I thought, do you know what? I'll buy the physical copy. It's still in its cellophane wrapper. I don't know if you can see that. It's still in its cellophane wrapper. We have this for £15. I got it for, so we get a PS5 Skyrim for £15. If that is not a console seller, I don't know what is. You started playing your third playthrough of Kingdom Come Deliverance, mate. It's a good game, isn't it? It's a very good game. I'm enjoying the story. Have you ever played Skyrim before, Ads? Are you an Elder Scrolls guy? Because if you like that, you must be into you must be into the Elder Scrolls games. But anyway, I could sit here and talk about the Elder Scrolls until the cows come home. You have fantastic. We've got that in common as well. We have got 4 news articles left. I mean, 2 of them are more PSAs than actual news articles, but we like you save your money. We like to give you free things, and that is exactly. Oh, speaking of free things, loot drop on Monday. The loot drop is on Monday, so if you are a subscriber of the channel, like I know 137 of you are, you have a chance to be involved and get involved. And have a chance to win a copy of Call of Duty Vanguard. Again, all you need to do is be in our Discord, and you have to be a Twitch subscriber, whether that's a Twitch Prime or an actual paid subscriber. Even if you've had it gifted to you this month, make sure that you are in our Discord. You have your Twitch and your Discord tied together. If you have, and you've done that successfully, you will be able to see an area called the Loot Drop. The winner will be drawn on Monday. Obviously, the game isn't out for a while after that, so as soon as it's out, you'll be given a code for a platform of your choice, and then you'll be able to play it. So if you've been given a gifted subscriber, if you have been given a subscription this month, you have a chance to win this for free, is essentially what I'm saying. So please make sure that you are in our Discord. If you are a subscriber, you have a chance to win a free game, and it's a hell of a game this month. We have got Call of Duty Vanguard for you when it's released. On release day, you'll get your code on a platform that you want. I don't know whether or not we're going to do it live on the scoop. It could be later on, but you will be obviously notified as we drop that into the Discord for you. Who won last month? Was it Bacon Shin? I think your shirt is in process of being manufactured. It's time to throw it down now as well. It's really dark in Manchester today, like super dark, which is obviously why I've got the big light on above me and my floodlight, because this is useless. This is genuinely useless. Usually it's absolutely fine because there's a lot of light coming in. But anyway, you guys that are listening to podcast service can't hear that, and you can't see that, so it doesn't matter. But moving on to our next news story then. Written by Andy Robinson over at VGC, he states that a VR version of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is coming to Oculus Quest 2, and Oculus says the VR version has now been in development for many years. Obviously, it's not going to be called the Oculus Quest, I don't think, anymore, because Facebook is changing its name to Meta. There is only one reason why Facebook is changing its name, is to try and eliminate, to try and get them off of Google for all of the shit that they have been doing wrong and criminally over the last couple of years. So they're going to change the name to try and change their image. So, I mean, that's by the by. Anyway, Grand Theft Auto title San Andreas is getting the VR treatment via Oculus Quest 2. The VR version of Rockstar Classic was announced during Facebook's Connect Live event on Thursday and said to have been in development for many years. Get a new perspective of Los Santos, San Fierro, and Las Venturas as you experience again, or for the first time, one of gaming's most iconic open worlds, Oculus said. This is a project many years in the making, and we can't wait to show you more of it. The news arrives ahead of the release of Grand Theft Auto The Trilogy Definitive Edition, a 3-game remaster collection featuring Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, the best one of them all, obviously, and San Andreas. The Definitive Edition introduces mono control upgrades and upgraded visuals, and upgraded visuals, including a rebuilding lighting system, improved shadows, weather, reflections, and upgraded character vehicles, and more. We probably don't need to go on with that because you all know it, but the name of this story and the title of the story is that you will be getting and you can experience Grand Theft Auto San Andreas in VR, which is absolutely mega. I'm just going to take a quick swing in my brew, so I apologise if there's going to be a very brief period of not talking. 1 second. That was quite nice. But yeah, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas in VR, that's going to be mega. I mean, there's a lot of things that I could probably say that a lot of people are going to be doing in VR on a Grand Theft Auto game. I'm not necessarily myself going to go into what that is and what that may be, but you get the vibe. What's Grand Theft Auto known for? It's going to be very interesting getting that kind of perspective in VR. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to see how much this is, and if people are going to be streaming it, because that's going to be quite fun. Is seeing them bobbing around in their streaming room or in their front room or something like that with this headset on, going around Grand Theft Auto. I mean, playing it in first person was revolutionary. Grand Theft Auto 5 in first person when that came about. So yeah, again, Grand Theft Auto Trilogy is coming out as well as this. It's a very good time to be a Grand Theft Auto fan. But moving on, we've got 3 news stories left. I'm going to leave all the freebies and stuff till the end like we usually do, so we'll get into this one. Again, this is going to be a very brief story because it's something that we have covered numerous times, but I still find it baffling how many of these has been sold in the time being. Written by Josh Coulson over at The Gamer, Sony has now sold 13.4 million PlayStation 5s, but you still can't find one. Sony's latest financial report is in, and it reveals that 13.4 million PlayStation 5s has been sold since launch. I imagine that's globally, rather than it just being in certain areas. But anyway, we've just read that bit, so we don't need to reread it again. We are now just a couple of weeks from the first anniversary of the PlayStation 5 launch. Odds are there's still plenty of you out there reading who want who are waiting in virtual queues, and perhaps even a few real ones, whenever or wherever the console is in stock. However, 12 months later, so many people continue to come up short. Despite reports next-gen consoles could be hard to find throughout 2022 and 2023, the PlayStation 5 numbers continue to go from strength to strength. Sony has shared the numbers from its latest financial report covering July through September of this year, and it has sold 3.3 million more PlayStation 5 consoles. That brings the grand total up to 13.4 million sold so far. Sony's games and network divisions generated 5.86 billion in revenue and 751 million in profit during that period. It's the company's most successful Q2 ever and is the best non-holiday quarter that the company has ever had, with 76.4 million PlayStation games across the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 were sold during the 3-month period, and 7.6 million of which were first-party titles. Spider-Man Miles Morales is still responsible for the bulk of the PlayStation 5's first-party sales after shifting 6.5 million copies so far. It's probably going to be a while until Miles is dethroned. The web singer's closest competitions right now are Demon's Souls at 1.4 million and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart at 1.1 million. It may well record a Miles Morales holds and continues to build on until Spider-Man 2 comes to PlayStation 5 in 2023. As for PlayStation Plus, PlayStation reports its monthly active users dropped for the third quarter in a row to 104 million last quarter, down to 105 million the quarter before that. The smallest decline of the three, and the PlayStation 1 will probably not be the one that's worried about. When quizzed on why they thought there'd been a drop between quarters earlier this year, PlayStation tribute to the non-casual gamers signing up during worldwide lockdowns last year and not sticking around now the pandemic is winding down. And I think that's blatantly the most obvious thing that you could think of when it comes to stuff like this. A lot of people have now gone back to work. A lot of people have a lot less free time than they did previously over the last 18 months. Obviously, that number is going to go down. I imagine people have been digging out their PlayStation 3s, 4s, 5s, any of their old Xbox and resubscribing maybe for a year, maybe for 6 months, maybe on a month-by-month basis to PlayStation Network and Xbox Live. So it makes absolute sense that these numbers have started to decline massively over. I mean, it's millions of people that have gone back in as well. So that's absolutely no surprise there from my perspective. What I am surprised about is, though, that these places... Well, you can say that this is now the fastest growing console in PlayStation's history, which is baffling, considering the PlayStation 2 is the most sold console ever. I mean, that continued to sell right up until the fact that it was discontinued. So will PlayStation 4 ever have that? I don't think so. I think most people are, when the new thing comes out, they're jumping straight in. They'll be saving up for a lot longer. Got third world countries that probably can't afford a PlayStation 4 now are probably still buying PlayStation 3s. That's just the way it is. They can't afford the money that it costs to have this, or they have the TVs that are capable of playing this. Like, you can play a PlayStation 3 with a VGA cable or a SCART. You can't do that with a PlayStation 4 unless you buy converters and stuff like that. So yeah, the fact that this is on course again to break all the records is fantastic. And I imagine, well, it's the same sort of situation with the Xbox, but you can find them a little bit more frequently. It just seems that a lot of people are subscribing to their services without buying the console. Again, that's just the way it is. PlayStation is going through something at this moment in time, and they have been doing for the last 7 or 8 years. I can't see this stopping anytime soon. As fast as they come in, they are getting sold straight out the door again, whether or not it's scalpers or people being able to get hold of them through stock reseller sites. And when I say reseller, I don't mean scalping reseller. I mean they will post when it's available for you to be able to go and either go into a website to submit your request to get one, whether or not they give you a code to be able to go onto a website and redeem it to then get into a virtual queue. Like, all these different places for you to be able to try and get a PlayStation 5 now. If you want a PlayStation 5, chances are you are able to get one if you make the effort to do so. I know that sounds like an elitist thing, but they're a lot more frequent now than there was 12 months, well, not 12 months ago, but they're a lot more frequent than there was 6 months ago. If you really, really want one and you think you've done everything that you potentially can to get one, there's definitely things that you haven't done. There isn't things like you're going around on Twitter to find these reseller accounts to get your notification bell on, so when the notification and they send something out, you get notified straight away. You aren't joining the Discords. You are just relying on being able to go down to game and pick one up. That we're in a completely different world now. That isn't possible anymore at this moment in time because they can't get them out fast enough. You need to be smarter. You need to be able to try and you need to try and think outside the box and get into the same lines that other people are able to get them around. Again, I'm not talking about scalpers. I'm talking about the average Joes that are able to go and pick one up now. So they are a lot more frequent. It's just, again, not as frequent as being able to go into yeah, Woolworths doesn't exist anymore, or you can't go into Argos and pick one up or game, which you would have done for the last gen consoles, and you would have done 30 years before that as well. But it's just a shame that we don't live in a world like that anymore. I mean, going into a video game shop, not many people do that anymore anyway. So, yeah, the world has changed, unfortunately. Again, if you really, really want one, get into our Discord and we'll tell you all the ways that you're able to try and get one. Graham has managed to secure 5, and he owns 2. He owns one in his bedroom, he has one downstairs in the front room, the other he has managed to secure for other people. Now, if Graham's able to get 5 of them by doing all of this, then I think you may be doing it wrong. So every time he's wanted to get one, he's managed to get one. Argos has been bought out by Sainsbury's. That is indeed true. Tina says, Judge checked my Division stats, played Division 1 for 44 days and Division 2 for 21. 21 days is not something to turn your nose up at. Again, there's a lot of things that could be stipulated around that as well. Like, did Division 1 come out around a time where there wasn't any games and that was the only game that he was playing? Is Division 2 come out? It might not be as good. There's other games that come out alongside it as well that's taking your time. But 21 days is nothing to be sniffed at. That's a lot of time to be playing a video game for. And I think you definitely got your money's worth out of it anyway. Whatever you paid for, you've definitely got your money's worth. Anything that you put in 21 days into, absolutely. But I heard that you guys like games. I know that you guys want to save money on video games as well. So that is exactly what I'm here to do for you today. First of all, this is stuff that will cost you cold hard cash, but hopefully at a reductional rate for you. Written over by Andy Chalk over at PC Gamer. The Steam Halloween sale is now live just in time for Halloween. Obviously, there's 2 days until Halloween, so if you want to get your spook on, you can now go and do that. Deathloop is going to be down to £33, which means that you have got 34% off. Bulletstorm, which is a fantastic game. I actually own that behind me for the Xbox 360. This is obviously a next-gen version of it over on Steam. That is now £3, absolutely worth it, and 90% off. The Ultimate Fishing Simulator. Not sure about this one. Probably will never pay it, but it's actually dearer than Bulletstorm, coming in at £4.49 with 70% off. And No Man's Sky, one of the biggest U-turn games that we have ever seen in this industry, is now going for £20. You could have picked this up 4 years ago for about £3 in a bargain bin, but now it's absolutely worth your money. Coming in at 50% off, you can now pick that up for £20. Pathologic is coming in at £12 with 58% off. We Happy Few, which I've heard very good things about, 90% off at £4.49. Dying Light Enhanced Edition, again, a game that people scream about. It wasn't really my bag, but it could definitely be yours at £10.49. And the steal of them all, this game, I mean, Andy, come on, mate. It's going for £1. Resident Evil Revelations 2 is going for £1. And I don't know if it's any good, but it's literally $1, so I'm rolling the dice on it. Resident Evil Revelations 2 is probably the game that kicked back off Capcom's Resident Evil glory days. Like, it is a fan. Resident Evil Revelations 1 was fantastic. Revelations 2 kicks its ass all over the shop. It is a fantastic, fantastic game. So if you haven't played it, buy it for £1. I am telling you now, even if you play this with co-op or you're playing on your own, you will absolutely love this game. It is a 110%. It's worth £10. If that was on sale for £10, it would still be a steal. I'm telling you now. And that's just not being a Resident Evil fanboy. Genuinely, it is a fantastic game. Very atmospheric. Quite scary in a lot of instances, but a classic Resident Evil vibe in the survival horror elements, like going and doing puzzles, collecting keys, looking after the ammo that you've got, make sure that you don't shoot things too many times and then lose ammo, and because you'll be in a situation where you will definitely need some. 110% worth your time. Definitely get involved with that. So that's 4 games there that will require some money. Not that much, but games that you probably will enjoy as well. I'm not going to read all the spiel around it. You don't need to know any of that. You just want to know what games and how much they are going for. I'm not going to flick onto the last screen. We're going to go straight into the last news article. Yes, that's right. It's Free Game Friday, and it's been written over on VGC by Tom Ivan, and he states that next week's free Epic Games Store title has been announced, and Evan calling it will be replaced by Dark, the Complete Edition. I think this may well be the trailer for Dark. But anyway, next week's Epic Free Game title has been confirmed. Avon Colony is free to download from November 4th to the 11th, and it replaced Dark, the Complete Edition, which normally costs £15.99, but it's currently free to download until November 4th. So you have just missed out yesterday on Among the Sleep. I hope to God that you guys that have been listening to us for the last week talk about that game have picked it up. It is a terrifying first-person horror game that came out about 4 years ago, and you play as a baby that goes around in your room. Everything's to scale, so when you're crawling, chest of drawers are massive. You have to pull the drawers out, climb up the drawers and stuff like that. Vish is in here. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. But yeah, this is the game I think that is available now. Dark Complete Edition. I haven't played this before. Doesn't necessarily look like a game that I will play, but by God, I will be logging into Epic Game Store and adding this to my collection just in case anything does change. But that, I don't need to read all this stuff. Or do I? Build a new home for humanity as Avon Colony reads the game's product's description. Discover Avon Prime, an alien planet of desert, tundras, and wetlands light years from Earth. Build your own colonies into massive sprawling cities while dealing with the threats faced when settling on a new world. This is the stuff that I didn't want to read because I just chucked this in as a word jargon. They put it at the bottom of every single Epic Game Store release stuff. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'll bring my face back on the screen. Hey, how you doing? That is it. That is it for this week's worth of scoops. We very much appreciate every single one of you that have joined us for this week. Obviously, I've been doing it the last 2 days, so there have been dollops. There haven't been as long shows as there usually are. We usually try and get an hour's worth of content out. But when it's just me, it's a little bit more difficult to be able to have the conversations. Obviously, it's nice when you guys are in the chat as well, and we're having that little to and fro. Very much appreciate all you joining in with that and helping us shape the shows, because one of the news articles today was submitted by Jordan and Lake, and that was the San Andreas one. So we appreciate you guys getting involved. But if you want to help shape the shows next week, that obviously start on Monday, there is 2 ways that you can do that. First of all, you can find us on social media. It is at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms. All we need from you is a URL plus your thoughts and impressions. We'll then give you our thoughts and impressions on the very next show, which, as I mentioned before, will be on Monday at 10 a.m. ish. As far as I'm aware, it is going to be me and Graham that's going to be doing the scoop. Obviously, things may end up changing during that time, but with the streams will continue this weekend, as Graham will be jumping onto PUBG tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. and I will be continuing with the weekend streams with some Visage, no chatbot. Yeah, no chatbot. Do you know what I mean? I am only one man that usually forgets to put chatbot on. There's no point we put it on now because we're wrapping up the show anyway, but it's at Ice Cream Nuttles across all major social media platforms. You can get up like you already know this by now. You guys have been watching this in our droves. But anyway, again, make sure that the notifications are on for our streams as we start to do our weekend streams. But that is it. I'm going to fire you over to Lotus as well, as he has. I think he's just started his stream, so he's going to be playing some PUBG stuff. So if you like PUBG, he's definitely going to keep you in his nice, warm, capable hands. So I appreciate every single one of you that have stuck around so far. As always, guys, there's one thing that I want you to do, and that, my friends, is to stay frosty.